a sequel to a Lisa Jewell novel, a sequel to a Lisa Jewell thriller. Of course I'm going to be reading that and bringing you a review right here. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews or book to movie content here at the weekend. In the description box below you will find all of my social links, including my blog and my Goodreads, where I have already posted, or am posting today, my review of The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. Here it is, the sequel to The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, which I do have a standalone review of here on the channel, so I will leave that linked up above and in the description box below. I do also have an entire Lisa Jewell playlist here on the channel, and so I will leave that linked as well, because I love Lisa Jewell and have loved Lisa Jewell since Ralph's Party, and you seem to enjoy listening to / watching my standalone reviews of Lisa Jewell novels, and so here's my review of The Family Remains. Now, you don't have to have read The Family Upstairs in order to read The Family Remains. However, I think that you should, for two reasons. The first reason being the fact that this is a sequel and it's a great sequel, and so therefore reading the other one first would be amazing. I would personally love to go back in time to a time when I had not read either of these books and be able to read them back to back for the first time. I think that that would be just beautiful. I think that it would be perfect. And so therefore I just recommend The Family Upstairs. It is one of Lisa Jewell's scariest, creepiest, most going towards the horror genre books. But also I feel like this book picks up the characters from The Family Upstairs, and so in order to get into the head of those characters and have a deeper understanding of that family dynamic and how the characters all come together, that's why I also recommend reading The Family Upstairs first. Obviously both of these books will be linked in the description box, and I recommend going and watching my review of The Family Upstairs as well, because it is definitely very, very dark. I am always just in awe of how Lisa Jewell writes, and I feel like I say this in all of my Lisa Jewell standalone reviews, but the fact that she takes characters and threads from The Family Upstairs and weaves them all together with some new plot lines and some new characters in The Family Remains. And she has to do justice to those characters and pick up those threads appropriately and weave them appropriately. It's just amazing. Like, this must have been either the hardest book to write or the easiest book to write, because she did it while she was still in the heads of those characters. But I'm just in awe of the way she's picked up such, like, even like the smallest, thinnest thread from the previous book, or the smallest, thinnest link between characters in the previous book or characters in this book. So I just think that it is a fabulous follow-up and a fabulous sequel. And for me as a reader, The Family Upstairs was definitely creepy and scary and dark, and I felt the claustrophobia of the house at Cheney Walk, and I felt the claustrophobia of like what had happened in that house. When I think about it now, I sort of feel myself in there and get that chill of being in that house. Whereas in this book, we've got the sort of world outside of that house and that the world after what happened in that house. And so I feel like with Henry and Lucy, the main characters that we pick up in this one, there is a certain lightness to them because they've gone through that and they've come out the other side. No spoilers here, of course. I'll try to do my best, but because they've gone through that and come out the other side, however they might have come out the other side, there's definitely a lightness to them and definitely an openness to them. And yet in many ways, the fact that we don't have the ties of the house and the limitations of that setting means that this story is like wide open to like who or what can come next. And so there's a lightness, but then there's also an sort of unknown quality of, well, anything and anyone could happen anywhere in the world. And so that's the beauty of this follow-up. It's not just doing the same thing again. It's not just taking these characters and going, well, let's put them through some more shit. It's going, right, okay, now that their world has opened up, now that this past is behind them, where shall we go next? And then we have some new characters who are introduced. We have new character Rachel. So we follow Henry and we follow Lucy. I was really pleased that we were picking up Lucy again, because I really connected with her in the previous book. The previous book sort of opened with her, and so I felt that connection with her the entire way through. And then the character of Henry is just so weird and wonderful and twisted and dark and yet childlike at the same time. You never know what he's going to do next. I think he would have been a really fun character to follow, because you could literally make him do anything, be anyone, be anywhere. And so Henry is a great character to sort of pick up again and run with whatever he's going to do. And then, yeah, Lucy, I really, really connected with her. But I also really connected with new character Rachel. I think in many ways she is very similar to Lucy. You know, she's doing her own thing, and then something comes along and kind of stops her in her tracks, and she's very independent, just like Lucy is and was very independent. But I enjoyed the sort of almost like human aspect of Rachel, and the almost like the rom-com aspect to the way her story starts out. And so it was really nice to have a new character that I could connect with as much as these older characters too. And then we have the fact that this book opens with some bones being found in the Thames. And you almost kind of forget about that aspect of the storyline, because you're so involved with other threads that are going on and other parts of the storyline that are being picked up and twisted and woven and reversed back to and you know, dropped and twisted and questioned and revealed all the time. And so, yeah, you almost forget about the fact that we've got this mystery of the bones that were washed up. Like, who is that? How does it connect with? Does it connect with a new character? Does it connect with an existing character? Is it its own storyline all on its own? And again, like, even the like thinnest threads are woven in there, and then you circle back to it and brought back to it, and it's like a grounding force throughout. But that's what Lisa Jewell does so well with her writing and with her stories, is just keeps making you turn the pages, because you're like, well, but I need to keep turning to find out what's going to happen with Henry. I need to keep turning to find out what's going to happen with Rachel. I need to keep turning to find out what's going to happen with these bones and this detective and fibres that have been found, and who does the bones belong to? Yeah. I listened to the second half of this book on audio. I talked in my wrap up about how I started reading the ebook of this one right before it came out, and then I ran out of time, and so I downloaded the audio so I could listen as I went and sort of read the book on time ish. And so it's a full cast audio. So I'm glad I did the audio, because I got to listen to the full cast aspect of it. But I'm also glad that I read the ebook for a little bit first, because this book does jump around in time, and that is sometimes hard to keep track of when you're listening on audio. Now, it's helped by the fact that it's a full cast audio, because you know who you're listening to, because they have a specific voice actor attached to them. But at the same time, it is sometimes still difficult if you stop listening partway through a chapter to pick up, right, well, where was I in that chapter? What time zone am I in now? You know, where in the story am I? So in many ways, I'm glad that I did a bit of ebook first of all, to get into the jumping around in time, in terms of like where we are with what storyline and who belongs in what time line. So just a sort of pre-warning there, if you are going to listen to the audio, make sure you pay attention to the shifts in time and get to know which actor belongs in which time zone as well. But yeah, overall the audio was great. I thought that this was a great sequel, and I just really enjoyed it. There were so many reveals I didn't see happening, so many story links that I didn't see happening, and I really enjoyed new character Rachel and picking up existing character Lucy. Henry, I will never be able to understand what goes on in his mind, and I think there's scope for more from him. But yeah, I can't wait to see what Lisa Jewell writes next, and it was just a real pleasure to have a new book from her, but that was also a follow-up and a sequel. And as always, I just love a Lisa Jewell novel. So check out that playlist. I will leave it linked in the end screen if you are looking for more from Lisa Jewell. Definitely recommend reading The Family Upstairs before The Family Remains, but you could read this as a standalone as opposed to a sequel as well, because it stands up on its own 2 feet. If a book can have 2 feet, probably can. Love a Lisa Jewell novel, and I will be reading some more darker things in the year, so let me know if there is anything that you would like to hear my thoughts on. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my bookish content or my movie review coming your way very soon. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you with my next one. Thanks for watching.